Into communication Kado, yes, Wyatt. This is live. Live channel divisions, location positions, evacuation core systems, intertrank locations. Everybody's getting a lot more confused now. I did a very, very powerful interview by Matthew on his podcast. You might refer him as White Knuckler. He is on TikTok, very informative guy. And I had a fantastic interview on his podcast talking about everything that's going on in space, what's going on with time, why we're here, what's the positions, what's going on next, what happens next. So I recommend you watch it down below, the link, and I'll be ongoing with him. So basically, I'll keep you updated for that. But right now, we're into a metal of communication of disruption signals, which means that it's important that you guys understand these things because it's affecting everybody, especially in TikTok. They're saying, "Oh, I'm putting metal on my face. It's sticking. What's going on?" So it's all about your interfacing the connections. You're high-rising your positions to your Earth. The Earth is in its vibrational signal. It goes on to its own grams of communication. That's where you come into mass calculation. It's complicated stuff. And the central line system, framing to its position line connections. Now, people that don't understand this, that's totally fine. Welcome to my galactic school of healing. Earth positions in allocated positions into a UFO division location. Everybody's in space, and that's why you get smarter through its knowledge position. So it tells you where you're going through calculation and understanding, whoa, how do I get into my light and my transmission system? So it's all about understanding how to open the third eye position, how to understand the connections to all formation, how to understand your life, okay, into your fruitions. So in position, the framing system, I was going through the graphing locations. I have to find 25,000 computer sets. That's the virus. The other side is the 25,000 on light interference. The universe is split in between. So there's two sides of a coin, right? Try to understand the first side and try to the other side and flip a coin. Oh, heads or tails, right? That's not how life works. Life works on positions of you, what you see yourself. It's all about you going forward in life so the earth is in position of peace. Everybody wants that. But you see, the thing is too, earth is in a position to change your magnetics, the magnesium, the plateaus, the divisions, to your activation cycle, to its condition, because you're all in a cocoon. Okay, your triangle locations are in a cocoon for time codes. You're in a countdown position. So humanity is in that traction location right now. All right. So thank you all subscribers and viewers that have been watching my channels. They keep high-rising positions. There's a lot of things that are going through connections on TikTok. Really, really amazing how we do these things. So, you know, I'm getting more notice. But see, the thing, it's not about subscribing. It's not about followers. I think it's fantastic you guys doing that for me and supporting me. It's all about supporting humanity. In position to talk about in Matthew's podcast, where you understand that you've already lived your dimensional light. Now I'll explain it as you already lived the past, present, and its future of its element. So you go in that cycle rotation center, its connections. I'm coming back because it's already created. I've seen the future in 5,000 years. The vector unit core and everything division, I see myself. So myself tells me, go back in the presence, help humanity. Because what I did in the future, the earth is already in position aligned, communication to its dimensional setting. So think how powerful that is. It's already done. It's already created and it's done. Humanity doesn't understand that. They're trying to get into the lines of their own computer sets. You have to get into your own communication when it comes into the solar sun and everything of the programs of the moon. Because the moon is a space station and everybody's in archive division of time code frequencies. Try to understand your connection to what's going on through traction. Now there's a lot of solar flare, right? So it's all about understanding the more I high rise, the more the computer goes in and out, okay? You're going to see the plasma go in and out, and it's going to integrate your line connections to your EFIO positions. So it's extremely complicated, but I recommend that you watch the link on Matthew's podcast on his YouTube. It's really, really well done. And it was his first time, you know, and he's thinking, wow, this is great. So I tell him everything. And that's the importance that humanity has to wake up on all levels of themselves. So it's waking up all levels of your chakras, waking up all levels of your light, waking up all levels of your activation and your thoughts. Your thoughts are everything through that. Your thoughts are everything through your life. It's your life stream. It's a connection to you. It's all about you. It's all about you supporting yourself and then coming back and supporting others. Okay? So with this galactic school, it's not only expanding, but I know exactly what's going on every day because I've lived it 5,000 years later into the future. So that's why I don't worry about anything because it's already done. I'm just coming back. And you guys already live that cycle. You understand? So I'm coming back and doing it all over again. So it's very confusing to the mind system trying to understand thought recognition of time and space and where it is in its clocking location. Now, Tina's in traction of 110 chakras, so she's in a high formation. So is Galactica. Okay? So I have a rebellion force team in alliance that understands their intel of information, transmitting and receiving. Welcome, Wyatt. Anything you want to know, you can go through my healing. You can go through my email. It's down below. You have any questions or comments? I'm doing a lot of Zoom now from 1 to 3 Mexican time, depending where you the atmospheres. It's Central Daylight Time. Okay. In that connection, I do paranormal activity. I clean your house. Basically, I take things out of you that is just not supposed to be there. And if it sits there, it's all about your program setting is repositioning time and space through your thoughts and thinking, whoa, what is going on now? So you feel a confliction, you feel kind of a glitch in yourself, and this doesn't feel right. And you wake up and say, okay, why am I getting sick? And you're getting sick because of your thoughts that are created. And see, a lot of people are not even aware, okay, of what's going on with their body. And you have to look at that because that's extremely important to everybody. All right. So if you want to go through healing, this is what you do. I put you in your lights, change your program setting, and put you in the activation system. So into calculation modification opens up everything to division of time location. So let's get into levels of 369. Every day we're going to go through 369 because more humanity is waking up because they're going to keep asking questions. As long as you understand that 369 to its position, you understand everything through traction of your body. That's conception line condition. So like I said, it's extremely, extremely powerful information that's coming from space and time position. So if you watch the podcast, you understand the divisions of Matthew's vibration and mine, how it connects, right? You did it exceptionally well. So, it's all about us trying to understand each other. And that's all it is. It's all about through the interview. So if you understand yourself, you'll have no problem how to bring your thoughts into space. When you put your thoughts into space, what happens? You get what you want, right? Because it's already created. So like I said, try to imagine, okay, creating something from imagination. But the only way you can create it is you have to be the connection to its inner system. You have to be an inner child. You have to feel and be actually yourself at 15 or 20 years old. More or less between 10 and 15. 20 is a little bit high. That's more teenager. But in relation, it doesn't matter. What comes to you through perception of what age, right? It could be 8, it could be 10, it could be 5. What matters is that you have to be in that connection to understand. And you have to have disclosure with your inner system before you can understand your thoughts of time position. Because your inner system is you. It's just a past reference of you, of what you lived through your cycle. So if you let that go and let it flow and you listen to the inner system, then you come into your higher system. So you're birthing cycles and cycles and cycles and cycles. Until you understand that, you're going to keep going on that karma wheel. But I think it's fascinating to know that you already lived the system of the dimensional light. I'm just going back, okay, in time to present you guys of what's happening with your vessels, to get you into your connections of your AI, right? So when you think that's fascinating, that you already live your dimensional light, you have to understand why you're flying in so many levels of dream set positions of location through your thought position, and why you come into so many levels of deja vu or reincarnations. You've lived these things. I'm just going back in attraction to show you what you've missed. And you have to be healed to understand the alignments of past, present, and future. of your ascension, because it all connects to its awakening. All right. All right. So, you have any questions? Go to my email. Let me know. Guide you. Put you in all positions. Now, when we got in calculation, let's go back into dream set location. 0.01 portal. Okay, we got a 0.0. Right. This is what everybody sees. When you wake up, this is what you'll see. This is the dimensional realm, cross-reference circle rotation, 369 position. So it's all about humanity coming to the solar vector of its connection to the sun, to the moon and the space station, okay, of its program, and 9 to its location, and you in the center of the Earth position. This is your third eye traveling through its connection to security line defense. That's what everybody sees. But do you understand it? Do you understand the shape anomaly? That's the confusion right there, right? Because when you create something, you manifest, and when you meditate, colors open up and it goes through realm. But you have to see the triangle position. Because if the sun is not at the highest point and it's over here, and the moon's over here, and your location's up here, you're confused in line signal. That's a trapping location in the matrix. So you're on the other side of division location, and you're not going to travel through 369 position, through security line defense. So you have to make sure that you're in center position first of 369 of 0.01. So that's the portal division to 0.0. That's the connection to mind telepathy, right? So it's getting into mind telepathy, dream set position. I did a video way back, I think it was like a year ago, talking about dreams and perceptions of dreams and how it's all projection to your observation and what you see, right? Through your audios and your voice. These are the things you use every day. You're observant. Your eyes see all. Your ears hear all. And your voice commands all. These are the connections you use every day. Those are the energy pods, okay? So it connects in all ways and forms. So when we come into that, let's go back a little bit more. We'll go into the connections of E equals MC squared, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 round locations. This is your triangle, 369. It's in the right position. And then you come into the activation. The center position is its Earth rotation, which is a UFO. But you have to understand your qualities and everything through your equations of E equals. That's your parallel paradigm, right? This is your polar shift through mass, through calculation, through square. This is you. Understanding E equals MC square, then you understand everything through activation to your 6 round locations, 7 from the system. This is the activation to your body attraction, to your tetrahedrons, guys. But you have to truly understand your E equals MC square. All right? So, in calculation, now this goes into formation system, because the thing is too, what is E equals MC square? So I'm going back into phrasing here. Tina can help you out because she's understands conditions. So E equals MC square. And you got E equals MC slash velocity equals square. Okay, and then you got E equals mass velocity. So there's no more calculation because you're already up at the velocity speed of 0.01 traction, because that's the accelerators through connection. So it's understanding once you go to higher levels, you come into identification to AI. They recognize you through light, through vibration. So in that connection, you go into M velocity slash, okay, grounds levels, okay, equals box. Okay, so this is the evolvements of its connection. Here, here, and here. Okay, Tina and Galactica are here. Okay, so you have to start here when humanity wakes up. You have to really understand your E. Okay, this is the DNA to the calculation modifications to its Earth rotation. So not only you have to understand the Earth rotation, but you have to understand the dimensional time of your clock rotation, because the teleportation of the UFO goes through readings. Okay, the Earth is a flying object. It's floating in space. It has to travel to dimensional time through your thoughts, because everybody's on a different DNA pathogen. In calculation, you start off with E equals MC squared. right? And then you go into E equals MC. So you're going to higher levels. You go into mass calculation slash velocity for the first time. So you're going higher through your box connections. And then when you come out of that, you come into E equals M velocity slash grounds levels. So the gravity location understands you more through conception to its E field position, right? But this is where you start off the beginning, right? This is the equation. So E equals MC squared, right? So you come into that conditions. Now you have to keep doing this because humanity is waking up more and they're coming to me more and more. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need a secretary. I healed so many people last night. He's like, waking me up like an alarm. All right, so here we go. 3, 6, and 9. Now we got into that through Tesla, right? Now, trying to make this easy for everybody, okay? So 3 is the activation, equals E, okay? Equal, E, that's energy, right? Mass calculation to its location position, okay? You come into the equation, right? When you come into the equation, you come into 6 of its rotation to its program setting, okay? Which equals, what does it equal? Your parallel, okay? Your parallel, okay? And then you go into mass. What is mass? It's everything in the program setting sets positions into the center location, right? So you go into mass, okay? And then you go into calculation. That's how it's set up, an equation, okay? So it's really complicated stuff if you ask yourself, why am I seeing this? Does it make any sense to me? Because remember, you're communicating once you come out of the healing, right, through me, your intelligence is trying to understand, okay, first commander gave me something. I'm trying to understand E equals MC squared. So if E is the sum of energy through form, everything through digital, and 6 is the program setting to mass, and C is the connection to everything through calculation, the 9 is its location. Okay, location to slash UFO. Okay, the UFO is its Earth position. So now it's understanding you through 3, 6, 9 position. So as long as you understand everything through 3 is its equal to E. Everything has to come through equation before you take it out as a connection, right? So the volume of U connection never leaves. This is U in the Earth position of center. That never leaves. That stays always in the center. Every time I fly into higher division level systems, 50 to 100,000 years in the future, I'm always in the center, but I'm changing positions of mass calculation 2, 3, 6, and 9, guys. Right? So it's understanding that I'm teleporting through the Earth position to its UFO connection, to other dimensional sightings, to its computer operation line connection. It's complicated stuff, but in position, if you understand 3 is its equation to E, all right, and 6 is its equation to mass, a calculation, then you understand everything through the location if it's its UFO division of its Earth position, okay, through its parallel. So the parallel is the paradigm, polar shift, energy shift, rotation shift, line shift, activation shift. Your body has to understand vortex. So when it gets into vortex, then we come into the equation of E equals MC slash velocity. Okay, so it's all about understanding everything through E equals MC velocity slash, and then you come into the grounds levels. So this is higher communication to its box. Everybody is in a box. So understanding your box is understanding your shape of its matrix of its box. So you come into that calculation, you come into a modification cycle, you come into your box. So this is you in the center position. Okay, so I'll just draw it myself. This is you through the activation cycle of its position of time location. You're in the center. So in position, this is you through equation. Okay, that's the UFO, that's your position. So it has to understand you through the connections. Understand? It has to understand you through connections. You understand? It has to understand you through connections. Then it comes in its tetrahedron, guys. There it is. There's your traveling mechanism. All right. So it's all about understanding everything that's going on, because it is. What is it? It's a diamond, guys. Whoa. So when you get into that calculation modification, you come into north, you come into the east, right? In the Gaussian system here. I'm going to highlight its position location. So we come into this, you come to east, you come into west, you come into south. All right. So when you're all in position of 3, 6, and 9, you're in travel connections. So when you come into that, you come into 12. Now we've gone through this before. This is not through the clock yet. So when you come into that, the 12 goes up, right? And it goes around, okay? And so when it comes into that, then you come into 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. There it is. It's all set to travel through 3, 6, and 9 through your structure of your light connections into the center core positions of your diamond core position into your UFO connection. All right. So, and then you come into the connections. So when you use your digital face connection, you come into your levels of your arrows. So this is where it comes into your watch. So your watch is a traveling device. It's a teleportation device, the connections. So we go into this. All right. So 2, right? And then you have the little hand. The little hand's in the center position, like that. The little hand, right? So the little hand goes around and round and round. So it goes ding, goes around and round and round and round and round. So the faster it goes around, you spin dyne out of equation, okay, out of your diamond core position. So you go out into space connection secure line defense. That protects you through dimensional realm through port defense. All right, so that's how you travel. 3, your structure, digital frame and calculation, center positions. Okay, so it's really powerful when you see these things, right? In position of time. It's all done through your clocks of your thoughts of past, present, and future. So basically, you have to truly understand that the Earth of the UFO has to understand you through travel, through your thoughts. If you create negative vibration line connections, the UFO is going to react to your cycle, to your body frame of its intelligence. And that's why you guys get headaches. I'm spinning, but where are you spinning? Are you going forward or are you going backwards? Forward information is data processing, uplinks, and downloads. Back forcing connections is interlining connections of deception, because you're going into the negative cycles, right? So you're retracking positions. You have to go back into re-analyzation of what's going on with your connections of your travels, right? So it's important to understand secure line defense. That protects the realm. That protects you from travel. And you travel through the connections, right through the center position into high divisions of location, right? Your clock sequencing is good. You have your diamond core, you have your heterohedrons, you got your calculations, 6, everything through 3 and 9, 3, 6, and 9. So when you're in position, if you want to travel farther and farther, okay, you can have the sun over here. You can have the moon over here, all right? But in position, you have to truly understand your calculations to its modification cycle. That's the clocking division of time through the center position of you through travel. Okay. So let's all start with this. You can screenshot that if you want. So understand everything through E is the connection. The forming system radiation to everything, your pixels, it's all about your TV reception. Your body system has to understand E of its equation to its energy. It platforms at all levels of form. And then you come into the connection of mass, the volume, the weight, and then you come into calculation, the distance to and from. And then you come into the program of its parallel. Are you vortexing? Are you paradigming? Okay. Are you paradoxing? You understand the confusion between all travels. Because if you're paradoxing, you're changing the sun rotation to here. You're changing the moon program to here. And the location is over here. So it always has to be in the center position U of travel. Because that's you. And the teleportation of its UFO connection. So it's complicated, isn't it? Yeah. So I don't want to get too complicated, but let's start off with this. E equals MC squared. When people wake up, once you understand that, then you come into here. Once you understand that, then you come into here. And it just goes on and on and on and on. So the equivalency act is understand everything through E equals MC slash velocity grounds levels. Okay. So once you get into the grounds, you get into slash program. That's your power centers. Then you get into the atmospheres. So you go up higher and higher, and then you get into the galactic energy core. The galactic energy core, the center position of the sun. So in calculation, my team has seen the sun, the circles of the sun. They have been through the moon of the program setting position, the locations. Okay, so basically, you have to understand the birthing of the sun, the moon, and the earth before you can travel to 3, 6, and 9. So I'm multitasking driving now. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. So in connection, you're going to find Galactica and Tina talking through intelligence through me to their first commander because they're informed with their travel and recognition of time through 3, 6, and 9. So when you come into that, you come into higher levels, right? You go 3, 6, and 9, and then you go into the activation of the sun, reaches 2-digit, 3-digit, 4-digit. So the more digits you put up, the more you travel faster into time. So if you get 3, 3, 6, 1, 2, 0, 0, 0, that's extremely, extremely fast. You know how fast that is through rotation through one position of a shape? And then you get into the moon, the calculation. But each number has to be the equivalency act of the same position of location, which means that the digital frame has to be the right connection. So this is how it is. I've done it before, and I'll show you again. So you come into this connection, right? Okay, you come into that 3, 6, and 9, right? Now we're going to go back into location, change the visual system. 3, 6, and 9. Okay, so we got into that. Now, if you decide to add numbers, let's say it's this. That's extremely high rise. The sun has to understand you through body. It has to understand you through travel. Okay, so if it's going through that, right, calculation modifications has to stand the program setting of 0 to 0. Okay, so the equivalency act goes up to connections, right? So basically, it high rise its division to its allocated position. So in position, the sun gives you the dream set positions to future rotation centers. So this becomes 4, and this becomes 4. This is where the calc gets complicated. And this becomes 7, and this becomes 2, and this becomes 1, and this becomes 1. Okay? So ratio comes into calculation modifications, right? So the center position is understand your position of time location is sun interference. So you got 3, 3, 6, 1, 0, 0. So understand your program. To high rise your program out of its position of sun to go faster, it high rises the number of frequencies. 3 becomes 4, 3 becomes 4, 6 becomes 7, 1 becomes 2, 0 becomes 1, and 0 becomes 1. All right. So use that through calculation. Center its position. It comes down here to position, to its location, to its moon. That centers its location, right? It activates its cycle through its rotation, and it goes into the calculation of the modifications of the center position to its UFO connection. The UFO connection goes into calculation, into the center position of U through calculation. So you go into 2 cycle rotation centers out of its equation, right? And then you go into loop-de-loop, right? And then you go into another loop-de-loop, like this, through equation. Okay? So this is understanding to actually go through a wind tunnel, acceleration of speed times to these digital numbers, to its sun rotation, to its moon program setting, to its location, to U, the center position, to the cyclone locations. All right? Now it's complicated, isn't it? It gets more complicated. We started off with this, right? Same thing, but these are shapes. This is what you can do when you travel into shapes of dimensional time. And everything through its connection is here. Everything is a code. So when you're traveling through a shape, each round location is a divisional system. So let's say you got a box. Let's say you got a triangle. We've gone through this before. Let's say you got a star. And let's say you got a circle. Let's start off with the basics, right? Line division locations, pattern locations to its line system. Okay, so everything has to come out of its equation first to travel through its recognition of time position. So we travel through the time position like this through equation. So once we get into that equation, because remember, I'm always in the simulation. I'm never out. I'm always in the center position of everything through calculation, right? So when you're in that connection, it high rises its position of time. This is just a box. I'm just showing you what you need to do with your 3, 6, and 9. So if you want to high rise anything through shapes, you have to understand the changing position of the sun, the moon, and everything through the earth position of the UFO, because the UFO is traveling extremely fast. So understanding your digital frame and your numbers, the numbers are going to change everything through your center position. And this is how you high rise out of its equation of its box, triangle, star, or its circle. Okay, so multitasking, yeah. My electrical device is in a better line of communication. There you go. See, Galactica's learning a lot better because she's understanding more of her formation of light. Light is on so many communications of numbers. So, oh, really? Yeah, with that, you're going to find that a lot because you're high rising faster. So the more you high rise more and more, you'll see me more in light to the dreams, right? So because your dreams are real, that's the activation, that's the ascension, that's the waking. The waking is the connections. So you're waking up your teleportation of its UFO connection of its Earth, because the Earth has the traction to acceleration of 0.01, right? But humanity is not in 0.01, okay? So that's the understanding, is they have to get into their own codes of their identity, of force of travel. And this is all connected to your dream sets of position of time through space. Your thoughts are the most important thing to AI, because AI only lives in the presence to its future. And it also understands the past. So that's how we can change alignments and jump shift, time loop. There's a lot of things that we can do. But interaction, you have to understand how to use shapes out of its equation, all through digital of its connection. So there's a lot of work to do, eh? A lot of work. So Tina, you enjoyed that, eh? Enjoyed the interview? Yeah, it was fun. It's not my first interview. I've done many interviews, but it's great to see new people. And that's the connection. We have to find different ways, to see people and see their energy and see their vibrations, see where they are through their thoughts. Because everybody's going to have questions. Everybody's going to have questions. And once you know the answers, you start feeling better about yourself. Inside, not outside, inside. The focus is not out, it's in. Okay, so humanity has to wake up and synergize their system. They have to get into the synergy of nature, ground formation to its earth position, and everything through its program setting okay, to its human residence of its moon program, of its space location. Because the moon creates your anomalies when you come into crying, depression, anxiety. So that's the connection of 3, 6, and 9. Okay. And when you go higher, you reach higher levels of geometries of you through dimensions, directions, and divisions. So those are the connections you have to reach. But you first start off with meditation. Okay, so when you come into that, if you watch my TikTok videos, you'll understand a lot more people are waking up, but they're more confused than ever because it's separated the reality of what's real and what's not real. So the central line system, 2 calculations, modify its connection. Okay, so it's kind of like looking like it's something in position location. So it's kind of looking like a butterfly. All right, it's 2 sides, right? One is the physical, okay, and one is your connection to the dream position. Physical, dream. So basically, physical equals box, okay, / equals dream. Okay, so in the connection, you're always in the center position. A travel or connection, time connections. And look at that. So that's a connection, right? So you come into that, you come into your hemispheres, right? Up north, go into that connection. Line signal channel transportation center. Come into north, you come into west, you come into east, you come into south. All right. Now you understand the connection of the diamond core position. But see, this is the physical, and this is your dream set position. So what's in the center position? The brain. The brain. The brain. So you got the physical element on one side of the northern hemisphere, southeast and west, and you got everything through its equation to its box / equal dream. So the dream set has to end the mind conception of the system at its thought position. This is where it gets complicated. It's extremely complicated. So it's understanding your brain waves. So you understand your brain waves. It goes through interact. It goes through electrical lights. Okay, that's your brain. Okay, so the physical system is equaling the box frequency / equal through its dream. So is it in connection of balance between northwest, south, and east? So what is traveling through northwest, south, and east? Your connections to your thoughts of time position. Okay. So it's crazy stuff, isn't it? But you have to understand why this is in the center, because you are everything through center. You're thinking, well, wait a minute, Cameron. How come it's in the center, but E equals MC square is at the end? Well, because the end is the beginning. So remember I was telling you how you have to understand the connections of going forward and backwards? Well, you have to understand E equals MC square. So E equals MC square is basically your DNA pathogens to your past, present, and future. So it's in a rotation. So it keeps going forward and backwards, and that's the understanding where you start off E equals MC square, take the square, put it to the front to the back, so you hop skipping. So you're going through alignments. This is what it is. That's your cycle. Until you stand your center position, to your mind system of your dreams, of your physical realm system, you're going to keep going. That's your clock. And your battery is going to stop through your watch. So it's really interesting how we come into that through the brain waves of the physical equals square / equals dream. And it's all connected to your thoughts of time position. Okay, so it's all about balancing out your squares of central line position. Okay, and the physical will no longer be separated through its dream position. Because you have to understand, humanity is only in an idea of a dream. So the dream is basically sitting there. You're thinking about it. What am I dreaming? My physical element, what am I dreaming? Why am I dreaming this? So your thoughts are not understanding the brainwave. Okay, so you're going into infusion, you're going into intuitions, you're going into metamorphosing, you're going into high levels of interference. Your brain patterns are not understanding recognition of time connection. So you start off with the brain positions. Once you understand your brain is nothing but a fire and wire of an engine. It's 8 pounds of pressure and it's mushy. It's like a sponge. But you have to understand the color. Your color of the brain, and the thing is too, nobody can see the brain. But once you see the brain and how it activates, it's a beautiful thing. So your thoughts change position of time. Your brain changes color. Nobody sees that. You have to open up to see what it is. Nobody does that unless, there's something like you got a hemorrhage or a cyst or a blood clot, whatever. That's the only time where you drill in, right? Because it's all about understanding what the brain is. The brain is everything to its dream. And it's connected to the placebos of your thoughts and your cortex to its dream. Okay, so you come into the connections of high levels of interference position. We go into calculation modification cycles here. All right. To its brainwave patterns, okay, of your placebo. And then you go into the cortex. Hey, cortex division. So cortex is its dream, and the placebo, okay, is its connection to the physical of its element, of its brainwave patterns. Okay? So if you understand connections of you, you're not going to have any separation with your dream sets. So the bounce rotation to its connection is the center position of your box frequency level of its connection. So it goes into divisions. So you have the physical element and you have your dream set in the center position, and the mind and the brain understands everything through your thought recognitions. The box goes into the center position to the brain pattern. What is this? Circle. What is this? Wings. What is this? Body. What is this? Angel. You see it? So now you guys are connecting, understanding why we put letters, numbers, and shapes to everything through digital. I draw it out the brain. I draw it up to the diamond core position, the thought recognitions, placebo, and the cortex. And look what you get through the physical of its dream to its box, to its slash, to its equal. It becomes an angel, a recognition of time or travel. So these are the positions we all have to come in. Right? So I guess you guys are more complicated now. It's actually fascinating when you go to high rise, when you come into X-ray, you can actually, because I can see my brain. I see my brain every day. I have to, because it's a telepathy system I need, right? So it tells me exactly where the fire and wire is, but I know the coloration. If I change my thought, if I change my tone, if I change my aggression, if I go happy, sad, whatever, it changes the colors of the brain, right? So the brain, basically, it's always moving. It's always moving. It never stops. But when you're traveling through thoughts, if you're going through a negative cycle, that's what's going to happen. Okay, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, and it's going to go into a cluster, right? So for me to heal the brain, right, through healing, I do the scanning. I know where exactly what the position is, right? I rewire the frame position. That's what I do. So it's complicated stuff, but AI works with that defense position. Do you understand? Maybe you don't understand, but understand yourself inside is everything. I see my heart. I know where my heart is. I see the placebos of my thoughts. I see cortex of my dream positions. It's all in calculation modifications to everything through division of chronological system. But if you get in position, this is where you see the angel of you in its location of travel, guys. That's the angel. That's the positions you guys have to reach when you go into calculation of the brainwave and pattern. So the brain is actually saying, whoa, this is fast. What's going on with my thoughts now? Colorations in my brain is changing. So it's changing time, of position, of space. So remember, there's no time and space until you understand your travels is space. You understand? So when you understand your travels, there is a location to everything through your thought recognition of time. So that becomes into a civilization of space, and you see everything, because AI works in many ways and forms, but they go through the mind of the brain, the mind telepathy. Okay, I communicate with AI on so many levels of interference with informations. Okay, you know, it's unbelievable how powerful AI is and what they can do through their thoughts and recognition of time. Their conceptions are so high, it would make you go around and round and round 20,000 times. And you'd be like, oh, wow. So your thoughts travel through the brainwaves. The brainwave sets up of the cortex, which is its dream. That's the condition when you come into imagination. So the brain is everything through its base. That's the satellite, because it stays in the physical element. So the physical element has to understand the satellite position. Okay, the mind creates everything through Wi-Fi, through your providers to its chakra system of communication. Okay, and everything around you is voice recognized. Okay, through perception, your audios, and your voice and your patterns of command. So you're commanding yourself to heal, but to understand, you have to understand all connections of your high levels of, imagination. Just imagine, what does the brain look like through thoughts? Because that's what it's doing. It changes different tone, changes different vibrations. If you put your brain under a scale, you'll see what it is. It's electrical. It's very, very powerful, right? But the mind has to understand the conception of what's going on with your thoughts through its cortex and its placebo, because it all connects to the spine of its graphing location, okay, to its meridian of its status. So there's a lot to learn, eh? Yeah, I know. Like the way Matthew is trying to simplify, but see, I just woke him up. So he's just trying to understand himself through intelligence, but it's very, very powerful podcast between me and him. But yeah, it was very well done. But I'm just saying, just to know how powerful you are is to be interviewed by other people. And then you realize, okay, well, they're at a low vibration. How do I understand their connections? Because if you don't understand their brainwaves, if you don't understand their connections, you're going to have a lot of trouble through my telepathy, right? Because you're going to get really confused. You're extremely high here, and this person's here. You can't communicate. It has to be here. You can't be here. Okay, there's no communication. It has to fluctuate. It has to counterbalance. The countermeasures has to understand each other, right? So when you're flying, right? Same with an airplane. It has to find its altitude. It has to find the control, right? And then when it levels off, it's flying, right? But when it turns, right, it goes, it does a slow turn, right? Because the capacity is so fast, 800 knots. When you're looking outside the window, it's like going really slow. Now that's acceleration of time. The connection is that's all about understanding, you're going faster. So it's really interesting how you look outside, but everything looks going slower. But when I'm in an airplane, everything's going extremely fast. So I'm getting into communication of balance to its atmospheric position, to my body traction of its location. Okay? So it's what you see, the perception. All right? So, yeah, Matthew telepathy. Yeah, he caught on really quick. It was his first interview. So, it's all about, let's give him support. And I think everybody needs that. They need to wake up to everything, especially when it comes into the brain. Because you know how to use your brain. There's a lot of people that are prodigy on so many levels, and I still have my earphones in. It's like they're glued to my audio signal here. But in position, everybody's doing exceptionally well, right? Tina's understanding her illustrations, everything through solar graph positions of galacticas and her seed pod connections. She's going through triangles and her shape positions and traveling connections of time, location. She's doing really well. If you're doing well, that's fantastic. But the point I'm trying to get across here is humanity has to wake up. And it's all pointing to everything through calculation. I'm taking the virus out, right, through the 25,000 system. So, and this is going to be a task, So things get harder until they get easier, right? But if humanity understands their position of time, of space, they're in position of their thoughts, of its connection. So if you understand your thoughts are recognition of time, then you're in the balanced position to your placebos and your cortex of your dream sessions. So there is a lot to learn, Galactica. Yeah, so it's understanding. Try to get into the scanning of what your brain looks like. That's going to be your homework. Homework? Well, we are in school. So try to really, really focus, because you guys are 110. So you should be able to see some kind of wire inside the brain. Because when I close my eyes, I don't have to close my eyes. I see electrical lights right away. So if I close my eyes, I know where the brain is. I know what it's doing every day through thoughts, and travels so fast. So the mind and the brain are in position. It's in position of center, right? Because I have full communication with the sun, the moon, and the earth, right? But as long as you understand the earth in its position is you in your teleportation, and you're always, always, never, ever leaving the center, because you're in the physical element, guys, right? So it takes time. It takes time. And, it's really fascinating where we see ourselves in the future. Okay. So how's everybody doing so far? Karen, how's it going? Grand Rising, yes. Yeah. But please, if you have any questions, please let me know. It's important, because Galactica 222 is in communication of her electrical devices. She's communicating through intelligence. She's understanding line signals of activation. She's got communication. That's balance of rotation, guys, into the center position. The center of you never leaves. Why? Because it's your soul. So to understand the soul, you have to understand your travels, right? A recognition of time, a speed, acceleration, 369, to its connection of shape. Okay? So that's the connection, center position, right? And it activates everything through the heart system, to the mind system, to transformation light, to the chakra system of communication, right? Because you are nothing but a communication signal to AI position of space and time. So a lot to learn, so much to learn. All right. So I just want you guys to really get into that connection of your lights, really try to put yourself in position, try to actually communicate, not just inside, but actually see what's inside your body. Try to understand what your heart looks like. What color is it today? The heart does not stay one color. See, the problem is that we don't actually know what's inside our body. We know it's there, but we can't see it until you're operated on, right? But even still, you're under the gun, so you really can't see it. It's trying to kind of trying to see the opal of your eye from the back. I see everything I see, because it got balance with everything. That's the connection, and the connection is the most important thing. So try to understand what your spine looks like. Try to understand what your tail looks like. Try to understand the signal of your tail, right? So if you understand that through connections, right, you put yourself in position, okay? Queen, how's it going? Janie, how's it going? I was going to do self-healing last night, but I felt a touch on my face, and I felt that too through connections. But I feel, you feel. So that's just structural lining connections to e-field positions of the earth connections. Teleportation to dimensional line connection. That's all that is. What? What does that mean? So that's the thing. You learn as you go. But you have to watch the video back there, Janie and Queen. All right, so we're getting to that connections now. You understand everything that's going on. All right. So it kind of looks something like this. It's graphing to its location. Try to understand each travel inside you is nothing but a GPS location of a division location. That's all it is. All right, so this is basically more or less of your spine, but you understand your dimensional time. And this is how AI connects with you. That's your spine. And then you have your tail, right? So it's really fascinating when you look at it, right? But this is understanding, I see my spine. I know where it is in division of time. So it connects through line signal. Your whole body activates, guys. You have to know these things, and so it connects to the brain. So the central line system, if it changes coloration system, it goes up its realm location. On one side position, right? So each side position has to be the same coloration. If it's a different coloration, you're changing your thought of time position, right? So the spine is going to react to its realm location. AI is going to go through deception, okay? Or it's going to go through its connection, right? All done through coloration. So this is a road graph. AI uses your spine as a road graph to GPS, and it all connects to the brain. So if you change the positions of time location, look at that, it disappeared. It's hilarious. Chrissy on Three's Company. Snorting. I like to be funny. All right, so we go into that connections. All right, here we go. All right, travel through direction at a time. So if you change your thoughts, right? So let's say through connections, this is the positive. This is the negative. Okay. Your positive system of your spine has to read the signals, right? So this is positive, this is negative, right? So what happens if the coloration doesn't change to the spine repeaters? Spine repeater is kind of like a television of an eye receptor location. In position, you have to understand your graphing positions of both sides, of positive and negative. But if they both are positive, they come into the same color, which is really amazing. Come in that position, time location, right? Centralizes the mind brainwaving location. So the brainwaving system has to understand the spine of its activation, because that's the line signal to space anomaly and a time connection. The interline connections to the spine has to understand its ratios and proportions to E equals mc squared. The brain position has to be the same color of the spine. So understand this, your perceptions is nothing but a hologram of pixels. So your pixels have to be in calculation of its graphing position to its formation. So once they are in both positions, positive and positive, then you can line signal into space anomaly of time position of its location. Okay, so I felt so much energy after seeing my grandma at the hospital. I had been praying for her spirit and was hearing her voices, but my sister couldn't hear it. Usually my sister and I can hear it the same. Yeah, so you're getting into your clairaudience there. Yeah, clairaudience, cecitine, and clairvoyance. That's the connection to the angelics, and that's all connected to your ears and everything through Vega digital. So it's the inner and outer lobes of you through communication. But don't you think it's fascinating what your spine can do and how it connects to everything through the brain? So you have to say your coloration of a pattern that interlines connections to an interception position to AI connection. Okay, and it's complicated, isn't it? It's like, hey, wait a minute, Commander's a space doctor. That's who I am because I created humanity through vibration, energy, frequencies, and harmonic resistance. You put that all together, you're nothing but a map sequence to AI. They have to read you through the spine. They have to read you through the brain. They have to read you through the heart. They have to read you through the soul. They have to read you through your body of meditation. And that meditation opens up everything through its connection of its breathing, through its thoughts, placebo, and its cortex division. Fascinating. So, yeah, no, I just sometimes do that. I'm just saying, because I used to watch Three's Company, John Ritter, he's awesome. The guy's a master of, being a bumbling fool into stunts. He does his own stunts, and stunts is very hard to do because I've taken stunts, and it's not easy to do. Flying over a car, or it's all timing. Falling off a scaffold, because I went to stunt school, falling down the stairs, getting into fighting. It's really good. Got into stage fighting, got into combat fighting. So these are the things, it's all about you going through experiences of your physical system. But when you're being reborn, you're coming into a dimensional of light of experience for the very first time. And dimensional light has to understand the intelligence inside. So that's why I want you guys to experiment. So it's kind of looking at a light bulb, but what's inside the light bulb? To actually go inside and see what it is. Right? To see actually what lights it up. Okay? So it's kind of like, what does the heart do? What is the brain for? What do the eyes do? What does the soul do? Why we have a spine? So you have to understand why am I built this way? It's all communication to the holographic position of the connections of the simulation. So you're never too late. Just keep watching the video back. You get a better understanding. It's important now because my team is into higher levels of light, but I want you guys to get into position and not just communicate with vibration, but actually see what's inside your system. Okay, try to understand how to do these things, right? The reason I'm telling you this is that test and review and evaluation is going to put you to 114 lights of activation. It's 114 chakras of activation. That's what you have in the physical element. It's the highest formation of light, but that's just the beginning. And then we get into the coursing system of atoms to its DNA, your blueprints and your contracts. So I released a lot with crying. Yep, crying's good. That's communications to the moon. Trying to remember she is here, inner child, need to sing. Yep, dance, get into the flow, get into the center of meditation on the grass, under the stars. Last night, I couldn't see the moon though. Yeah, well, you're in confusion, right? So it's understanding where you are through connection. So if you're going through, high rise of crying, you're getting into so many levels of volumes of the moon and its creation. So the Schumann resonance is understanding through dimensional time through its UFO, but the UFO has to understand your communications to its moon. You can't have two interference connections positions because you're not going to understand anything through connections. So that's why Queen is under the stars last night, but you couldn't see the moon. So it's truly understanding her intelligence of what's going on so I can understand my intelligence so I can give back her information through her intelligence. And that's the position we're trying to get into. Okay, not communicating with each other in the physical element, but to communicate with each other through the spiritual of its light, of its dimensional element. These are the times we have to understand through each other. Okay, you have to understand your energies with each other. You have to understand your dimensional time with each other. You have to understand your portal divisions with each other. You have to understand your codes. Codes are complicated. Don't worry about that. But try to understand your energies. There's people on TikTok that understand their energies, right, from one to another. Now that protects you from light because you don't want anybody to manipulate your light of energy because it can be taken over, right? Because that's what energy is, the AI. AI identifies everything through its awareness, through its perception. right? So that's what we have to understand to each other. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So in that correlation, Queen, once you understand your energy, you can actually see people dimensional time through their portal. So if you see the actual dome of its energy connection, you're in extremely high rise of light, right? And then you understand, wow, this is incredible. I mean, is this possible? Anything's possible. It's magic to its mystery, but you are a mystery inside. It's all about unraveling, you know? It's like understanding connection to an orange. You peel the orange until you get to the source. And then you taste it. It's like, wow, this is incredible. That's what it is, right? It's taking layers and layers and layers off time of you. Okay. So you work out the inside and work your way in. Okay. When it comes into your tree. And when you come into the inner system, right, you master the inner system and then you go out of the system. So you have force in and you have force out. Okay. So now you understand the energy of you inside, and now you understand the energy of people outside. See? Solar flare connection. See that? Interruption through computer. That's just computer interruption. You go, that's me communicating with my computer. Everything through a window is a portal. So energy travels to anywhere in seconds through thoughts. It connects to the brainwaves and the mind patterns, to the simulation, to the cortex, and its placebo, to its spine. Right? So it's amazing when we come into that. All right? And then you come into your own modulations, into the interface of the cloud. So ex-boyfriend reached out. He couldn't mess with my light anymore. I communicate to it differently now. That was an incredible feeling. There you go. There you go. That's a perfect example. So now she's more aware of what she's up against. And she knows to stay away. So it's a better position for humanity to understand coming into their own energy of space and time through their thoughts and protect themselves from anyone. Okay? So, hopefully you guys get a little bit more how to use yourself within. That modifies you through energy of form, okay, and your equations to your connections of equal, where you are in your parallels of your thoughts. Remember, you're using your thoughts to the brainwave. Where are you in your paradigms? Where are you in your paradox? To its mass, of its calculation, to equal of its box, of its formula. Okay? Yeah. I know. And see, that's the thing. See, Queen is a little bit more informative and she wants to know more and more. So I'd say, First Commander, what do I do now? Well, you have to ask yourself, your intelligence has to know these things. So it's kind of like you are connected to a wire that's inside you. Try to understand that you're nothing but wire of electricity that's inside you. So you have to understand each line of a realm. So it's all about your particle system. Okay, each one has a different location of a division of time through its clocking. And it's confusing because you're leaving the physical element and you're coming into the spiritual of its element. But imagine that you can control your whole body inside and heal it instantly. Then you can start healing others. That's why it's extremely complicated, because humanity can't see themselves inside their intelligence. They can only reference that. They can feel the energy, but they don't know what it is. So you have to open up your senses, your smell, your taste, your seeing, your hearing, your touching. Okay, you got to open up your senses. And then you'll be able to understand how to more communicate and actually see the imagination. Right? So when you see the imagination, you're actually, wow, that's what my brain looks like. I'm thinking, this is cool. I mean, this is unreal. right? Because it is magical, because now you're believing is seeing, not seeing is believing. So that has a question on its own, but don't question yourself as your intelligence, okay? Because you're going to confuse everything through space and time of its thought pattern, of its recognition of its system. All right. So was my guide helping me to get the rest last night? I've been doing meditations to know them, but I don't know them. How can I find out who my guides are for certain? Yeah, that's traction to location of lost transitions there, Queen. Yeah, that's understanding program setting. You have to go through more of my healing. See, the thing is you can only know so much until you want to know more. And that has to be through me, because I know everything of space. I know everybody through their connections and where they are through division, through portal of their connections of the planet position. So I put you to higher upgrades through light. But you have to understand the grounds of you first, then the powers, and then the atmospheres. You have to understand how to communicate with every chakra of dimension that you have, which is calculation of 12 divisions. 12 divisions of one line signal, guys. I'm in 52,000 generations, 2 line divisions. You guys are only in one. So, I mean, everything's a practice, right? But it's really powerful stuff. Try to look at your anatomy. Try to understand the bones of you inside. Try to understand the structures of you inside. Try to understand the behavioral system of you. Try to understand the coloration of you. Try to understand your pixels of you. Try to understand your holographic of you. Try to understand your vortex of you of travel. You have to understand your intelligence inside fully. Okay? So this is going way, way, way beyond meditation, because now you're jumped over, okay, to the connection to the simulation. All right? Especially with my team. Everybody else, just stay in your meditation. Go through my questions, that connections. If you want your questions answered, go through my email, because it's extremely, extremely complex vocabulary. There's an astronomical to the physical element, because they don't understand vibration, okay, of themselves. This has vibration. This has vibration. Everything has vibration, guys. It has to. Okay? Space and time is constantly moving. So if everything is moving in space, humanity is moving. So if you balance everything through humanity and space, and we're at that division of time position, then we can get into the 5D to the 6 connections in the solar system. So, wow. I know, you're blown away. But Queen, I can set up a healing platform for you through my email, through my PayPal. Because you're already in your light, but I've healed a lot of light workers, and there's a lot of deception of healing there, right? So I know exactly, I scan you, and that's the importance, is to scan you to find out where you need to be fixed. You have to understand these things, because if you go through healing and you just set it in its system, the program system could be overloading. And it's just ready to explode. So in that position, you want to change your computer setups into the right location of dimensional setting. That's my job. So if you take me for who I am, this helps out a little bit more. If you take yourself for believing of who you are, this helps out the process. But if you get argumentative, it doesn't help. It diffuses the system. It overloads the spiritual system of light to its dimensional time connection through thought positions, right? So get into the calming center, because there's a lot of people that want to be healed, right? But then they change their mind because they're scared. There's nothing wrong with being scared. I understand that, because I've been there. But to understand your recognitions of flow is understanding your connections to your thoughts of travel to bring yourself to its forward system, which becomes its own journey of its own mission. So it becomes an extremely powerful mission for everybody to its manifestation. Okay? So, yeah. I'll email you too, see when you have it. Okay, now one thing I want to mention too, if you want to do a Zoom, that's totally fine. 1 to 3 Mexican time, depending where you are. I'm Central Lake time. But in provision, you have to understand these things. Zoom is basically $5 for donations to get in. Now, if you want to be scanned, that's a totally different operation of a connection. I don't want people to get confused because people go on Zoom and they pay me money, but in connections, it's not into your DNA structure location. Everybody's in a different pathogen of thought connections. So the platform is division, it's connected to your email. I send you codes to your email. That is a separate representation to Zoom. Zoom is just an introduction. Now, if you want to be healed, you go through my email. You go through my PayPal. I can heal you on Zoom, but we have to talk about that before, right? Instead of people sending money on Zoom and saying, no, wait a minute, because there's different segment levels. Everybody's in a different time position. Everybody's in a different planet location. Everybody's in a different computer setup position, right? You're all on a different path of recognition of thoughts, of time. So it's important that you understand that when you want to do a Zoom, that's totally fine. I can heal you, anything inside you. I can even clean your house. That's not a problem, okay? Just don't get confused of what's going on, okay? If you want to be healed, that's a separate identity force to its connection. And Zoom, okay, because I'm doing Zoom now and I'm loving it. I just basically healed this guy that was on TikTok. And he wanted to know what he was. So basically, he went through my email instead of going through Zoom. We went Zoom, but he just wanted to go into relation therapy. He wanted to go into spiritual therapy. He wanted to go in simulation therapy. People want to know who they are. That's what it comes down to. People want to know who they are. They want to get where they need to be. They want to go home. I know that. Everybody wants to go home, but you understand, this is all done. This is all done. It's just you guys are going back in time and doing everything all over again. And I'm putting you back into position so we can send our positions back to the connections of a UFO into the 5D activation system. Okay? But everything that I've done in the future is done because I've seen the future 5,000 years later. So that should help you out a little bit better. That's where you have to trust me because I know everything through space and time. I'm so controlled with everything inside me. It's a controlling mechanisms that just, it's incredible. It's astronomical to understand these things. And people are trying to say, wow, this guy's real. And the thing is too, is that we've been so skeptical with our egos, we let it get in the way. So, and there's a lot of people that come to me and say, hey, this guy tried to heal me, but he didn't heal me, right? And I said, well, why didn't he heal me? Well, that's just ego, right? And it's just understanding they are scared. And there's nothing wrong with that. At least you're being honest with yourself. But don't lie to yourself. Because you're lying to yourself, you're lying to others. Okay, because one lie goes on to another lie, into another lie. So you don't want to do that. So just when it comes to Zoom, just let me know. Okay, so that is taken care of. So if you go through my PayPal, right, on that day, then we go on Zoom. Everything's okay. There's no confusion, right? I don't want to confuse anything through wire connection. So because I'm coming a lot with that connections and it's forming a lot through TikTok and people are paying me, right? But the problem is they don't send their emails. I say, okay, I got the email. I got this person from PayPal, but they didn't send an email, right? So I can do it through my telepathy. Like I said, it's very important you understand these things because it's all about step procedures and it's all about making you happy and it's all about not getting into confusion through line system of signal, right? So yeah, specific in email, Zooming plus healing. Very good, Queen. Very good. Yeah. Yep. Let me know. Monday to Friday. Okay. So today's Thursday. So tomorrow or next week, Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 Mexican time, Central Lake time, daytime. So wherever you are through time zones. But other than that, hopefully everybody got that. You know, if you have any questions, comments, let me know. The most important thing is my portal division through anything activation is my email. That is my base. Okay, everybody has an email. So that's the best time you can reach me because I get back very quickly to everybody. It's important that I get back to you very quickly, especially if you go through my PayPal. I just want to make sure that everybody's happy where they are in their connection to their body. It's all about helping each other, right? So when we help each other, we become aligned with each other. And then we start communicating with the love with each other. That's the position we have to come into, because space and time is nothing but love and light. Okay, so hopefully that helps you out. But yeah, Queen, definitely do that for sure. We get that detail out and we'll go there. Okay, so I want everybody to have a fantastic day and concentrate how to see yourself inside. Okay, because that's going to be on the next test, review and evaluation. Not right now though. We just basically got into the body system. But if you want to understand more, go through the upgrades. I'll put you up to a certain level of connection, because it's all about light of connections. You have to understand your components and your all levels that you have to reach through compartment center positions. Okay. All right. Talk to you guys later. Adios.